Hi, thanks so much for being here. Welcome or welcome back. This video, it's going to be about talking about how I incorporate digital planning and paper planning into my life and how I am trying to find a good balance to make it useful in a useful system. So if you're interested, I hope you stick around. So on my last video, I talked a little bit about what I have been using for 2025 and what I was testing towards the end of the year in my plans or my ideal system, I guess, for 2026. So I will be linking that video on the description below if you want to take a look at that. Just a little bit of everything about how my system has been evolving slowly throughout the year. But one of the things that I discovered, I guess, towards the end of July was that I can benefit very much from digital planning only because I can create the alarm system where I can have reminders automatically set ahead of time to remind me of things that are coming up or things that I need to be working on and stuff like that. And I do that in my paper planning, but it's not the same as having an alarm sort of, or a reminder, automatic reminder that pops up at the right time, I guess, and reminds you that you should be doing certain things. And that is also, it can work perfectly fine as long as I have a good balance. Now, to find that good balance, I have been testing different things here and there. So I will try my best to explain to you how is it that I'm using it on my system to create that hybrid planning system that is beneficial without the notification overwhelmed and all the social media and everything digital that can try to rob of your attention. So bear with me as I try to find my way to explain to you how is it that I incorporated to. I have I guess, a feeling of contentment with my digital planner, but also a little bit of overwhelmed with it because it can get distracting. And that is something that happens not only with my digital planner, but it can happen with social media, my phone, you name it. Even my smartwatch can be trying to get my attention all the time. So it is imperative for me to find a balance where I can use these tools without being taken away from the planning session or my focus for the time being. So what I do is I usually try to come over here or in my digital planner and I add anything that has to do with a due date and that I know that is going to either repeat every month or I need some kind of reminder because it's something that I don't do all the time. So it's not necessarily in my head, it's not something that I'm used to doing. So I need some kind of reminder. So I go ahead and add it in here. This calendar is from Plan More. It is an iPad app. So I don't know that it is available for Android. I will add it if I can find it, the link to it if you happen to be interested in adding a digital planner. I love this one because it is it's interactive, so you can just kind of play with the pages. I like the how it looks when you flip around the pages, and it has plenty of places for you to add your planning. It has note sections, it has tabs for your tasks, like for the daily focus. It has a yearly overview here. It has monthly, weeklies, and even your day in a timely fashion where you can just track your time if that's something that you're into. And then you can even go back into the yearly overview for, I don't even know how far this will go back or in the future. So here is 2021, and then I can just continue going here until, I don't even know, I haven't really tried. So here's 2032. So, you get the idea. So I like that I can plan ahead and I can also go back and look at what I was doing a few years in the past. You know what I mean? So, and that's something that if it applies to you, it's something that I use often. I do like seeing when was the last time that I went to my dentist appointment or something like that. So I like the idea of having that information available. And I also can connect this one to my Google Calendar, which is what pops on my Android phone. So I do use an iPad for my planning, my digital planning, and my digital notes, but I do have an Android. So I like the idea that I can still connect them even though they're two different softwares, you know. So that's how I use the digital planner. It's just something that you don't necessarily have to do. It's even on an iPad or a tablet, you can use any note-taking app and just make your own. I actually like this one as well. This is called I think it's called Paper. Yeah, Paper. And I did paid for the yearly subscription because I do love this app, but you can still use the free version and still do the same thing. I have multiple notebooks in here and they are all different things. I have been using this one for a few years now and I love it. And again, you can use the free version and just take your own digital notes. That way it doesn't have an incorporated calendar, so it's not going to remind you of anything. But if you have you know, the necessity or the urge to take some digital notes, that's a good app as well. I do like the planner again because Plan More, because you can connect it to your calendar, and that's I guess that's the main focus for me. I need to have it available for me to give me those reminders that I need. So basically, just to kind of give you a little overview of how I use it, I come over here every Sunday and I try to upload whatever it is or add any reminders and any to-dos that I have to do for the week or for the month if I know there's a date and time that I have to do something specific. So for example, this week, we are on the week of the 18th. I have a few appointments that are coming up. So I already have them here and I have them to be with a reminder of an hour before the appointment, so I can be reminded to just get ready and get out the door. And then I also have another reminder for it to remind me the day before. So that's one. Then I have other to-dos, and I try to color code. In this app, it's a little bit complicated to color code with the colors that I use for different areas. So I've been trying to kind of adjust, but I do try to color code depending on what it is, if it is a personal item that I need to do or a work-related item. So that's that. And then any school related items and any bills that are coming up. There's a few things that are going on in here. So that's what I do on a Sunday. I try to come over here and add anything that I need to be reminded of throughout the week. And then I also open, of course, my main planner, which is the common planner, and I kind of go through my notes and see if there's anything else that I'm missing, that I'm forgetting, or something like that. Anything that doesn't relate to or requires a reminder, it doesn't necessarily go into my digital planner unless I feel like I want to kind of play around and make it pretty, you know, looking. But the most important thing is anything that needs a reminder, it needs to be in the digital planner so it can be of use. I guess in my case, it can pop out that reminder that I need. Of course, my favorite, of course, will always be my paper, because it's just a way for me to disconnect. It's a way for me to stay creative, keep up with my different areas of my life and work. Everything is in here. You already know how I use my planner, but it is a way for me to ensure that everything that I am doing is it's aligned with my goals, my main goals in the different areas, and I am not distracted when I am in here because I don't have any pop-ups or notifications or anything like that. So when I'm here, it's just purely making sure that I am emptying what it's in my head into my paper planner and ensuring that I allocate it, I guess, to where it goes. So usually I try to start in my monthlies because it's where I plan the most serious things to do. Then from there, I'll take whatever it is needed for my weeklies. So this is my current week. I do try to kind of make it fun every now and then. Like you can see, this is a little bit more childish looking, but I like that it is more approachable and fun because there's a lot of serious things happening this week. And I just kind of needed that creative outlet for me to make it feel a little bit more approachable. So I just come over here and I, like, again, I said before, I color code whatever it is that I'm working on, and then I add my to-dos for today. And then from there, I just go to my dailies. Usually for my dailies, it's not necessarily a to-dos thing. It's more of memory of what I'm doing and how I'm feeling and what's happening that day. So as you can see here, I guess it's more random of you know, thoughts and notes, But I also plan other things. Like in here, I'm planning a little bit of what I want to, some projects that we have for the home. And then here, I'm just kind of going with my day and just adding random notes. I was watching my favorite movie of all times, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, last night. And I can watch that movie forever and I will always love it. I'll just, yeah, I love it. So I was just adding that in there. And then just, it's very random, but I do like the idea of keeping it fun, but also keeping it focused on what it is happening at that time. And hopefully whatever, in the future, when I come back in here, I can see exactly what I was doing, what I was thinking, how I was feeling, what is it that we were working on, projects and things that we were doing, places that we were visiting and stuff like that. But I can also see important information such as my tracking, which is something that I do all the time. You've seen this page where I track anything that has to do with my personal, and then I also track anything that has to do with more adulting things to do throughout the year. So everything is in here, and I will always keep my paper planner, but I like the idea of incorporating the two as a hybrid sort of approach, where I can just kind of have fun on this one and have everything accumulated in here, but it can also get distracting and I can, I guess, get lost in the creative aspect of it instead of focusing on the things that I actually have to be doing. So I like the idea of the digital planner where I am reminded of what it is that I'm supposed to be doing at that time or that day. So basically, this is they both have a similar job, but they both have a very specific function in my system. So for my digital planner, I make sure that I am scheduling here anything that I need reminders for. I ensure that I have my calendar set up to be shared with my family because there's a lot of things happening that not necessarily involve them all, but sometimes it might. So I liked my husband, for example, to know that this week we have a few appointments coming up so he can be mentally ready for it. So I like to have the calendars synced. I like to add also recurrent reminders in here. There's things that happen every single month and it can happen for years and years. So I'll go ahead and add them for at least the current year. So for example, we do the sales and use tags every single month or every quarter, depending on what it is. So I go ahead and add the reminders here, and it will populate, I guess, for the first week of every month, and that happens for the 2025 year. I can set it up for years, but I like to kind of review everything where we are at every single year at the end of the year. So I try to set it up at the beginning of the year for the remainder of the year, if that makes sense. So that's something that happens every single month. Of course, birthdays and stuff like that, those are in here. They are recorded already, and sometimes I have a big family, so I do need that reminder to just kind of know to at least send a message, a note or something. And then also on the go notes, I like that it is synced with my Google Calendar, so I can just pull my phone and then go through my list, and it will sync with my notes in here as well, or my notes in Google Calendar. So that is definitely super helpful in yeah, it just kind of keeps the plans going smoothly. Now, the daily planner actually has a similar function, but it's more for the breakdowns and the brainstorming and more of the deep work and personal reflection, sort of. But it comes with the perks, I guess, of having the ability to plan for the goals and my focus that goes into my digital. So they both have a similar but different function. Like I mentioned, I liked the idea of having them a hybrid. As a hybrid system. It is something that I started doing not too long ago. I have used digital planners. I have even created digital planners in the past. I started, I guess, creating them in 2018, actually. But then I lost the connection with it because it just doesn't feel like a regular notebook. So I stepped away from it for a few years. And then this year, last month, I decided to go ahead and start incorporating it again. That way I can have that sort of like an assistant. I like to call it. It's my digital assistant, where I just tell it when to remind me things and what to remind me of, and how to remind me and stuff like that. And that's what it does. So yeah, I like the idea of this hybrid system. It is something, again, that I am trying to incorporate it and make it a more of staple of my ecosystem planning. I like the idea again that I can set it up to work as I need it and when I need it. So if I don't want to work on my digital planner, I don't have to. I can continue my paper, or if I want to do it the other way and just work on my digital planner and put my planner away for the day, I can also do that. I can have them both work together at the same time or separate, and I won't lose the information. So that is definitely a plus in a must have, I guess, for me. I need to ensure that everything is synced. So that is something that it does require a little bit of extra work if you are managing two. But usually, I guess, let's face it, we all pull out our phones every single day. So it is sort of like automatic for me to go in and check my calendar, my email and stuff like that. So everything is sort of synced regardless. So if you are feeling overwhelmed and you have tried you know either or, and you're trying to find that balance between the two, I encourage you to try a digital planner. It doesn't have to be this one. I do like this one because it syncs. I'm pretty sure there might be others, but this is the one that I have been using, so it's the one that I can recommend. I will link it below in case you happen to be interested. And yeah, if you have any favorite tools, digital or paper planner tools that you like to recommend for a hybrid system like this, and you like to share them with us, please leave them in the comments so we can all kind of take a look at those. And yeah, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have found the video somewhat helpful. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions, and until next time, thank you for watching. Bye.